the pits, and he's at Porsche.
Indeed, I'm in the pits next to Romain Dumas, who is just back from his stint. A relatively short stint, Roman, so can you explain that?
Well, actually, unfortunately, we had a puncture with Mark Lieb 2 hours ago. And so Neil was not ready. And so Mark has to continue. We put again a new set, but he was nearly driving, you know, too much driving time. So and I'm the only one who is able to jump on his seat without losing time. So it's why we swap with Neil. I kept the tires of Mark Lieb, who were already to stint, jump on the car, and we didn't lose time in the pit, and I was able to continue the, the story. And now that it was a big repair with the wall, we take the opportunity finally to change the tires because they were 3.5 stint, so it was time to change, but it was okay, it was cool.
And when you're not really prepared for getting in the car, is it something special for you as a driver? I mean, when you're not really ready to take the wheel?
No, I was not at all. I was in bed because Mark drove just after me. So I went to bed and they came and said, hey, wake up. Yeah, you have to go back. So now I hope I will sleep.
That's why I saw you were pretty sleepy. Thank you very much. And about the strategy for the end of the race, do you have a clue about the strategy?
Well, so far we have always small delay, you know, like the puncture, like the wheel nuts, like we try, but they are quick, but it's still 8 hours to go.
Thank you very much.
I was asleep. That's the best excuse I've heard from a racing driver. I was asleep. Yeah. I wonder how long that's going to last. That's an excuse in terms of validity.
Interesting to see that Porsche having those issues. We thought that it would be them responding to the slow zone, taking the opportunity on that 10-lap shorter stint to get the stop done. And it makes absolute sense rather than a slow zone out there to get into the pits and minimise your net loss. But yeah, not like them to be not quite with it. You know, normally your next driver is ready in the garage, stood there throughout the stints in case there's an issue with the driver that's got into the car. As a team manager, you're there trying to manage that all the time. You're aware that the drivers need sleep, but equally, you can have someone get ill while they're in the car. So yeah, not a surprising one there from Porsche. So we're coming through the slow zone now, and we'll get released when we pass this green light. No, there'll be a white line on the exit to the slow zone.
Well, it looked as though they were pretty quick on the uptake.
Just didn't react, really, did it? Not in the same way as the LMP2 car did. You know, those two cars on pace would accelerate in a very similar way.
You could argue that's an LMP2 car in front of it, and the class is different. But then we've already made the point that the LMP2 doesn't really get away from the GTE Pro and acceleration that well.
No, absolutely. You know, the GTE cars in a straight line are every bit as quick as the LMP2s. So it's very interesting to see how those passes get made as we see the number 2 Porsche. I think that's the number 2 coming past. Some nice shots from the pits of some female mechanics working through. The Ganassi guys, interesting, they've got an awful lot of female mechanics on those teams, so it's not just female racing drivers, lots of technicians, engineers, and of course Lena Gade, the engineer on Audi number 7.
Yep, trendsetter, I think. Well, Lena Gade inspired a lot of people in 2011 with that crushing victory on the 3 Peugeots. I'm reminded about that one as well by Pinky. I was talking about safety in numbers. He said it's not always true. Le Mans 2011 proves the point. Very good point indeed. Audi, they were able to cut the mustard with the French trio. And when you've got Lena Gade in your arsenal, you've got a good chance.
Yeah, the very different set of circumstances, really. These guys now have the opportunity to go and try and break the car, and when we've had a season of reliability issues, it is different. You know, the Toyotas have the choice to go and send one car. I don't think we'll see that happen for at least a couple of hours, but in a couple of hours' time, I wouldn't be surprised to see them turn around and say, right, let's send him up the road, let's see if we can break him. And you might see the Porsche number 2 and either the 5 or the 6 really go for it and see what happens. You know, they are here for a World Championship crown. This is a double points round, so you don't want to lose that, but equally, this is Le Mans. This is the one, this is the headlines.
Yeah.
Is a victory at Le Mans worth more than the World Endurance Championship victory?
I think it is still.
Probably.
I think it is still. As much as the World Endurance Championship would like us to say, it's very much similar sort of trophy. No. Le Mans 24 Hours, that's the one everybody talks about. That's the one everybody wants to win. And that's the one that's going to get your car sales sorted. Well, he's going to have a bit of an embarrassment when he watches the footage back later. I can't believe you caught me with my mouth open and everything.
Absolutely.
That Ford, though, that's going to be a car that's going to be...
The Golf Racing boys. Sorry, they are nuts. They're absolutely crazy. Based in Milton Keynes, and those guys, yeah, a group of individuals and characters.
That's what you love, though. You love a team to show their character. I mean, this is a very human sport, perhaps more than in other forms of motor racing. I mean, when would you see clowning around like that in a Formula One pit? When it rains and floods.
Well,
Other than that,
they'd get fired if they got caught on television doing that.
Exactly. You know, at Le Mans, that's just keeping you awake. That's keeping the spirits up.
It's all part of it, absolutely. And in fairness to the Golf Racing guys, they're having a fantastic run. The number 86 Porsche in the GT Am class. Mike Wainwright, the amateur driver on board, currently running 5th in class. And they're only 3 laps back on the class leader, so still all to play for, and they're still chasing a podium.
And they've got a very good chance of getting there as well. I'm not saying that the 3 Ferraris and the other Porsche in front of them are likely to break down, but this is GT Am, and the attrition rate tends to strike in this last quarter of the race in GT Am quite harshly. So there's an opportunity there for the Golf Racing machine. I love being on board with this Ford GT. Let's listen. That's the sound of a thoroughbred racing car.
Yeah, the V6 turbocharged Ford EcoBoost engine sounds absolutely amazing as they go down the Mulsanne straight, as he changes up into top gear there.
Well, it looks and sounds the part, doesn't it? I mean, we're all 9-year-old boys to a certain extent in our mind. We love these pin-up cars, and that Ford is going to be a pin-up for a long, long time. It's the new generation of poster car. Yeah,
you know, the start of their 2-year program, which I'm sure will be extended after the end of 2017 when Ford see the value that they get out of the World Endurance Championship and their program in America. But yeah, the guaranteed 2-year program for that Ford GT, and nice to actually see one of the road cars here. It's one of the few cars that has been allowed to race before the road car was produced. There are other manufacturers who have asked for waivers in the GTE class that aren't here. But ultimately, that car is based on the Ford GT road car. The Ford GT road car, I believe, will be on sale before the end of the year. Don't know how many they're going to sell, but all the other manufacturers agreeing to bring Ford back. They were willing to sign off this waiver to get it in early. So I think everybody wanted to see the 50th anniversary of the 66 Le Mans Ford GT Le Mans victory.
And that decision is paying them back in spades. The attention that is being given on this race from Ford fans, from motor racing fans in general. This is what put the Chevrolet Corvette out of the race about half an hour ago. Bang! Game over.
It was a big impact, wasn't it? Tommy, well, lucky that it glanced as it did. He would have liked to have gone about 10 yards to the right and glanced up the barrier. He might still be in the race. Au revoir, monsieur. Unfortunately for Tommy Milner, his race and the entire 64 crew are out. The 63 crew are still very much in it, though. They are running in 8th position at the moment, trying to close up on Johnny Adam in the Aston Martin number 97. The gap between Jan Magnussen in the 63 Corvette and the race leader is still only 3 laps, considering that they're in 8th place. 3 laps is not much with 8 hours to go. They've got a chance. You never know. Anything can happen, and they've still got a good chance of a podium. Absolutely. The Manitou trying to rebuild the tyre stack that Tommy Milner knocked down. They won't release that. So, the number 35 Alpine, that's David Cheng at the wheel.
Is it Cheng? It's Panciatici.
Panciatici at the wheel.
Wow.
He's gone in hard.
That's a surprise.
He'll be able to get that car reversed back and out of the wall.
Whether he'll be able to drive it anywhere afterwards, that's the big...
Is that the exit of Tertre Rouge? So
I think it is, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 10 and 11.
Oh no, it's one of the chicanes.
It's the first chicane, so he's dropped it on the way into the first chicane.
Oh, the car's really loose, really loose.
He's hit the wall on the outside. He's gone straight on and across.
The car won't turn. The car won't turn.
That was because he was locked up, I think.
Oh, Nelson. That could so easily have been avoided.
I think he locked up, and probably, well, if there was a failure, it would have been caused by hitting the curb with lock-on.
But he hit that at very high speed, considering he was still slowing down. It went straight across the chicane, and the car wouldn't slow down, it wouldn't turn. I think this might be game over as well.
Yeah, I suspect with how hard that has hit that wall, it may have done a bit of tub damage. So the suspension mounts are glued into the side of the tub.
The chassis could well be destroyed underneath.
Yeah, there's a chance that it will have damaged those pickup points. If it hasn't, I know that those guys have got corners built up ready to put on, a new nose, a new corner, and on its way. But once he's got that car back, which he can do, he can drive it back from there.
Well, for the moment, that will promote Kirill Ladygin in the SMP. You can see, look, the tyre marks across the gravel.
Yeah,
and then on the track,
that's why the car wasn't turning. The tyre tracks the whole way. If he'd come off the brakes and released, he probably would have got that in. Either that or the car would have gyrated and maybe tacked the wall with the back. But,
here we go again. Let's listen. Too late on the brakes.
No, there was some rear locking going on there as he was coming down the gearbox. You could see the car started to move from the back. I think he wasn't expecting that. Braking at about the right point, but just as he was coming down the box, the back moving and straight to the scene of the accident.
And he's a frustrated man. You could see him gesticulating to the marshals.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to get him a pull out of the wall because he's gone into that loose shale on the outside there.
The speed he hit the wall. The speed he hit the wall, though, the damage he's created, and the force. I can't see them getting that car back out.
Would you have said that when Mike Rockefeller hit the Audi in 2007?
Good point. Good point.
These cars are very, very
taken
strong.
Well. Yeah, good point. Well taken.
You'll be very surprised how strong these cars are. Just going to ride on board again, or is this the sister car?
This is the sister car. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that either, and Audi pulled it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I know these guys aren't Audi,
damage, then they can do it. All the teams have complete suspension corners built up, ready to drop on. They're set up exactly as the car was at the start of the race, so they can just literally unbolt the corner and put the new corner on.
Anthony Dreve down in the pits.
Speaking about crashes, obviously we've seen the Alpine, and we've seen as well Tommy Milner. We are very happy that you are safe and very in shape, really. So what exactly happened?
Well, I lost the rear of the car going into one and couldn't get it back. Just thankful to be in this Corvette. You know, we've seen some really big accidents over the years here, and drivers always walking away. So feel very fortunate that I'm in a very safe car, but really feel bad for the guys. I mean, didn't have the fastest car, but you know, it's always a challenge to finish a race here at Le Mans, and you know, who knows what'll happen for the rest of the race. So I just got a little bit too fast into one, I guess. There we had just taken some wing out of the car, but I don't know. So it's a bit bumpy in one. I just made a mistake, really. It's just what it comes down to. So I just feel bad from all my crew guys, and a lot of work for them before they can all finish packing up and stuff like that. But still have our teammates in the race. The 63 car, they're going pretty well. So just got to keep your nose clean for this race, man. And you know, we've done that in the past, but not this year.
It's not the first time we see crashes in the morning, so maybe the temperatures as well can have an importance.
Yeah, I mean, I think in our case we had just made some setup changes there to try and find some more speed, and just went a little bit too far probably.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Nelson Panciatici shouting at the marshals, put the car down on the floor, put it down.
He and I are gesticulating in exactly the same way. He needed to be put down on not the shale. He needed to be put down about 10 yards further up to be able to get that car moving. He's going to try and get it going, but I suspect he's going to have no traction on that shale they've put him down on, and therefore he's not going to be able to get the car back on. I would hope they'll move him forward. He's still in a place of safety. He's still behind that wall. You know, there's no reason to not put him down further up. So Marshall's ripping bits off for him, which is what he'll have wanted.
Nelson slams the door shut. Well, fine. If you're not going to help me, bang.
Yeah,
That's a very, very frustrated Frenchman, and totally understanding that one. But look at the wheel. Look, it's up in the air.
It is, but had he been put down slightly further
he's not going to be able to get out of that. They've really not helped him there at all.
No, absolutely. He needed to be put down 10 yards further up. You can see the flat spot on the tyre there, though. Oh, that's a corker. they're going to...
Well, they think he's out of the race, don't they?
He
They
stayed
clearly...
in the car, and he can bring that car forwards. But it's very strange to see that they're choosing to end his race.
Anthony Dreve tells us it's very reminiscent of an Audi incident a few years ago. Benoit Trelieu, I think it was. I think he's right. Very similarly, but yeah.
The marshals doing their absolute best. These guys
Well,
are
they've done what
here
they feel
to,
is right.
and they do have to use their judgment in each case. And if you're looking at that car, you would say, no, that car's not going anywhere.
But then they're not mechanics. They're not thinking in the mindset of a team mechanic.
He just needs the opportunity to try and get that car going. The ignition is on. I suspect the engine is actually running. But he will not be able to get traction from where he is to drive that car forward onto the track.
Nelson needs to open the door, calm down, talk to one of the marshals and say, look, do you think you could just pick the car up again and move me back onto a bit of tarmac? Could you please just give me a chance here? You may not think this car can be fixed, but look at these guys. Give me a shot. These guys will be a superhuman force to get me back out on that pits. And look, the team are just so frustrated. They're probably going through exactly the same emotions as Nelson is in the car. These guys can do wonders with these cars. I've seen tubs that would probably not have turned in another lap if you'd have thought about it. And then they've been repaired in about 40 minutes, gone back out and taken a fairly decent top 10 finish in a motor race. So I can see where the frustration has crept in there at the backseat DC Racing Alpine squad. But the number 25 is in the wars. 35, sorry, is in the wars at the side of the track. The car is slipping down the order to what is now 6th position. The Ladygin SMP racing car is up to 4th. The Stracker is up to 5th. Panciatici at the side of the circuit, gesticulating wildly. Put me down on the ground, not on the shale.
The thing that you can't forget is that they're here for a World Championship. You know, they're chasing a World Championship points, double points here. So a retirement here is massive. You spend the rest of the year chasing it. You're on the back foot from there. So if he can just get out and scoop up 2, 5, 10, 15 points, that's massive for him.
Especially when we got so long to go, 7 hours and 45
the P2
minutes.
class, which is so competitive this year.
We've got, you know, a whole WEC race plus an hour and 45 minutes, a Grand Prix distance then effectively to go. Anything can happen in that time. From Nelson Panciatici's point of view, this isn't over yet. If he can get it home, it's not over yet.
No, so, well, let's see how that one develops. Back to the race at the front. 24 seconds separating Stefan Sarrazin, Kazuki Nakajima,
no, he's given it up.
And the Porsche number 2. You can see how broken he is. He's going to get out. If he doesn't...
Oh, toolkit.
No, yeah, as long as he doesn't go more than 5... No, that's the steering wheel. No, it's not. It is... He can't go more than 5 meters from the car.
Well,
otherwise, it's a retirement. He's got the toolkit out.
Good boy, Nelson.
He's going to have a look at it. He's going to see what he can do. Some sleeping people around the...
yes, it's you we're watching. Yes, it's you.
He doesn't want to look up and see herself on the big screen.
Yes, it's you we're watching.
So Nelson now... What's he doing? What's Nelson doing? He's going to try and take the whole nose section off.
Now, so that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, because they've got a spare nose in the garage. And thinking about it, that's sensible, because a lot of the problem is going to be in that nose section. So if he can detach the nose from the rest of the tub and drive it home very, very slowly, he might be all right. Oh, fire!
Bicollars has finally expired. Let go. We saw fire earlier in the week, but that's an oil fire from a turbo.
No.
So, yeah, they
Simon
need to get to that. Simon is now
get out. Your car's on fire. Get the extinguishers quick.
Yeah, he hasn't pulled over nearer. This car seems to be on fire every time we see it.
Yeah.
They've struggled. Simon grabbing an extinguisher himself. He's going to go and put the fire out. Just smack the marshal with the extinguisher. But Simon's a lovely guy. He's the nicest guy you could possibly meet. He's just so calm and collected and considered, and he feels so privileged to be racing in the LMP class. But they've got that fire out. Simon now trying to go in the other side. And I think he's going to try and at least bring it back. That's in the Porsche curves. He's not got that far to go.
No. Well, the bicollar is in flames at the side of the circuit. Anthony Dreve is in the pits.
Yes, indeed. With Nick Leventis for a quick update from the Straka Racing team, because we didn't speak about you from the start of the race. So how is it going at the moment?
Yeah, it's going really well. We've been running our own race. A little bit behind the Oricas on pace, but we're still there. And yeah, we're feeling confident. The car feels good. So we'll just keep plugging away.
So Johnny took the wheel after your stint. How was your stint?
Yeah, good. Really good. The car's come back to us, really. When the track temperature was a little bit higher, we lost the balance a bit, but through the night and this morning, it feels really good. So fingers crossed, there's still a long way to go, but we'll just keep chipping away and hopefully come home with a good result.
So at the moment, we are in the top 5, I think, in the P2 category. You are 2 laps down, but yeah, everything is possible.
Absolutely, anything is possible. And like I say, we've seen so much happen in this race. We've just got to keep chipping away and see where we end at 3 o'clock today.
Thank you very much.
Well, the attrition rate's really starting to kick in now at Le Mans, isn't it? Because we are starting to see cars at the scenery dropping like flies, and that's quite commonplace at this stage in the race. They've survived the night. They've done pretty good so far. It's been a very clean Le Mans 24 hours by all rights. But on this particular occasion, Collers has once again done everything they can, worked hard, tooth and nail, but the CLM is not going to give them anything this time.
No, did look like some kind of turbo failure or something like that. So, you know, if he can bring it back, there is a chance. Didn't like it had thrown a rod out of bed or done anything too serious. I think Simon's giving up, though. It does look like he's saying, enough's enough.
Do you know what? We've tried so hard.
Yeah. And
this car's on fire all the ruddy time.
Simon's a lovely guy, paying for his racing in that car, having done GP2. He's been there, he's done that. You know, he is extremely quick driver, but he's chosen to say, right, you know what, I want to go and do this. But he wanted to do it in the top class, so yeah,
Whoops.
shame.
Recovery there from Paul Dalla in the Aston Martin once again. A bit of a slip up there at the Dunlop curves. At Gearhead Fred on Twitter, are there any restrictions as to how many or what kinds of spare parts? Oops, that's why he's gone off there. He tried to
LMP2 cars.
He tried to pick a fight with the Extreme Speed Ligier. What was he doing? In
fairness to Paul, there wasn't really much he could do about that. It was side-to-side contact on a P2 car that had come up his inside. He thought, I would think, that the car was going the other side of him.
Okay.
But I think Paul 50-50 there. Let's not throw that one Paul's way.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm willing to concede on that one. Are there any restrictions as to how many or what kinds of spare parts the LMP1, 2, GT Pro-Am teams can bring for Le Mans 24? Well, Giles, this is your kind of question.
Yeah, I mean, they're restricted in terms of numbers of engines, numbers of chassis, gearbox components internals. They're not, you know, they can get on with that, but they're not allowed to change casings. So yeah, you will take a penalty depending on what you do. We saw that with KCMG. Were given dispensation to change the tub, didn't have to go to the back of the grid. There were others that took a 5-minute penalty for changing an engine. Those guys not full-time WEC competitors. The WEC guys get 4 engines for the season, so they're normally throwing one of their engines away at the end of Le Mans. Where the other engines will then cycle through the season. So one is their Le Mans engine. They might choose to use those differently during the week, so they might actually run an older engine on Wednesday night and then change it on Thursday. The GTE guys, certainly that's what all of those guys were doing. And with the way the weather fell, they all changed engines. Most of them changed their engine for Thursday's running to put their race gear in. In terms of other spares and consumables, drive shafts, uprights, front corners, bodywork, no limits there. And here at Le Mans, no limits on the number of tyres they can use, so they can run as many tyres as they like. Normally in a WEC race, we're looking at 6 sets of tyres per car.
That's how close the Le Mans 24-hour is. Toyotas 14 seconds apart, with Neil Jarni in the Porsche only another 8.3 down the road. I can't believe how close it is. I've seen some close races at the Le Mans 24 hours. At this rate of adrenaline, at this rate, we're going to be as close in the battle as we were in 1969, when there was only about 150 meters between the race-winning Ford and the Porsche right on the tail. So that is how this race could go. I mean, that was the closest finish of all time. As into the pits comes the #1 Porsche once again, which is now the guinea pig for the #2, which could still win this race, don't forget.
That felt like a short stint for number 1 as well. I've not been tracking number 1's stint lengths because they're so far down the order, unfortunately.
Slow zones, taking advantage?
Yeah, could well be, but they've done that on the last rotation, so yeah, seems strange, but maybe trying something on a setup change that they can learn and help the number 2 with. Then, you know, ultimately they can just hone the setup and then transfer it across. Toyota mechanics all getting a warm-up in the garage. Oh, wake me up, come on, let's go guys. And yeah,
that's a YouTube video waiting to be made, isn't it? I know that's a serious process that the Toyota boys are doing there, and but you just know somebody is going to take that piece of footage, probably probably slow-mo it and put a dance track underneath it. That's going to be on YouTube tomorrow. But they're doing some serious work. I mean, this is how intense the training regime is, not just for the drivers, but for the mechanics. You've got to be in tip-top shape because you never know when something's going to break. You never know when something is going to fail on the car, and you have got to be on it like a car bonnet.
Yeah, no, completely. Those guys are so fit. You know, the wheel changer in particular in the pit stops has to be so fit. He's running around that car with a wheel gun that's relatively heavy, and the guy that's feeding him the wheels is just as important. So no, it's interesting to see them being woken up at this time in the morning. They don't do that before every pit stop, I can assure you of that. So just looking at some of the times that are getting pumped in now, the battle in GTE Pro rages on between Scott Dixon and Nicky Thiem in the Aston Martin. So Scott Dixon's pumping in personal best sector times to try and open that gap up. That gap up to sort of a minute and a half now. Oh, Rebellion off. No, not
that's
Rebellion.
the That's the Thierry by TDS.
Keep doing this to me with Rebellion on the side.
That's the second. That's the second place car in LMP2.
The nose is missing.
That's gone in hard. Is that a Mulsanne? Yeah, it is. Mulsanne. Now, this one's definitely worth a replay because...
But what's strange is the nose is missing, which, again, you would suggest that the car's turned round on the brakes.
Let's have a look.
I think he's going to arrive sideways in this shot.
Whoa! Yep. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. It's almost as if he's lost that under braking through the kink.
Everybody seems to be dropping it on the brakes this morning. You know, that's the third incident we've seen in 40 minutes of a car dropping it under braking.
And who's that?
And there's another car.
That's one of the Extreme Speed Ligiers. Well, Evelyn on Twitter has said, Jake, you've jinxed them when you said that the race has been pretty clean so far. I apologise, because they are just dropping out all over the place now.
It is strange how they're all dropping it under braking. I don't know whether that's something that's going on with the circuit in terms of grip, whether they're all just getting caught out, or whether that's tiredness starting to set in.
Could well be. That's Ed Brown in the car at the moment. Daytona 24 Hours winner, of course.
Yeah, those guys have done a fantastic job so far this year, and strange to see Ed making a mistake like that. He's been pretty solid, as the result at Daytona suggests.
Into the pits comes the Dempsey Proton Porsche. Jason Turner, don't forget about the Alpine. What's going on with it? It's a good point, actually. I wonder how Nelson Panciatichi's repair work is going on at the moment. Now, well, he's still there at the side of the road, I can tell you. He hasn't moved yet. The car has slipped behind the 41 Ligier. That's the Greaves car of Memo Rojas is in the car at the moment. Safety car.
Not surprising.
There's a lot of cars all over the place, especially with that debris down at Mulsanne.
Exactly, and I think that they want to take the opportunity to have a good look at the circuit and just make sure that all the braking zones are clean, make sure that as much gravel is swept away as possible, just to prevent any more incidents. I'd like to see from onboard, if we can,
definitely,
the incident there for the number 46 Pierre Thirier car. Pierre is, he may be his name above the door, but he's a fantastic, very, very fast and well-respected driver. It will be interesting to see whether that was something else going on, because the nose had gone by the time he came into shot, which is what I suspected. I think he's hit the nose on the inside barrier under braking, so as he's gone through the kink, and he's then arrived sideways in our shot. But it'll be interesting just to see whether all four tyres are inflated, for example.
You're absolutely right. I think that's exactly what's happened. He's gone through the kink, hit the brakes, the car snapped away, either a drop in tyre pressure because of a slow puncture developing or something along those lines, maybe brake failure. But, the car came in pirouetting very gracefully through our shot as we looked up the Mulsanne. Here it is again, look. That suggests to me exactly what you said, Giles.
All four tyres are inflated, so I think it is just driver error, but let's see. He'll get it back. Yep, all four tyres definitely still inflated.
Well, that's going to be easier to get back to the pits than it is for Nelson Panciatici to get back.
That really only needs a nose. There's been no suspension contact, I don't think, with the wall, so it's been a glancing blow along
and Ed
the guardrail.
Brown, that just looks like he's gone off, so
Yeah.
I think he's going to get back to the pits as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What will be interesting to see is whether there's any Armco damage where the number 46 Pierre Thirier driven Orica has gone into the guardrail on the inside.
That could be the very reason we're under
we've
safety
got the
car.
safety car, exactly. Yeah, if there's any guardrail damage, then they'll want to get that piece of guardrail changed to make sure that all the drivers are safe. We'll see. We're just coming through Tertre Rouge now. We're following the AAI Corvette on that onboard shot. That car still running 11th in the GTE AM category with Johnny O'Connell at the wheel, the ex-factory Corvette driver. Some 21 laps down on the class leader, so those guys have obviously had some trouble through the night. We saw the car in the gravel trap early on in the race.
Here they come, they're all pitting in. The Beechstein Aston is in, the number 12 Rebellion is in, the leading LMP2 car, the 36 Signatech Alpine car of Stefan Richelmi is in the pits. So too Pippo Durrani in the second of the extreme speed Ligiers. Here's Toyota.
Catch safety car B. You should catch safety car B.
Yep, so the 3 safety cars that are deployed around the circuit, those guys coming on at the end of the pit lane, Mulsanne corner, and then down at Arnage.
Is that safety car number 4 of this race? I think it's only the 4th time. Because there was one during the 6 hours we weren't on. I know that for a fact.
Then there were, yeah.
So I think it's only been 4. Into the pits comes the Signatech Alpine. So they're going to take, that's the leading car. René Rast has just moved up into 2nd position, and they're 2 laps adrift.
I suspect this is brakes. This is just get it back into the garage.
Yep.
Give it a proper service. This is a prime opportunity to make sure the car is as good as it can be. They're going back.
Absolutely.
On.
I mean, they could do this and get it back out and still retain the lead, to be honest, because I suppose that is a good idea, playing safe, especially when you saw what happened to Nelson Panciatici.
Some oil going in. Just taking the opportunity to give the car a thorough check over, and yeah, absolutely the right thing to do. Absolutely.
Why on earth wouldn't you? Why on earth wouldn't you? Because if you do that,
they're not doing brakes. I thought that they would have been, with 8 hours to go, kind of splitting the race up into thirds, taking pads, but maybe they've only got to change once and they can already get to the end with what's on there.
Well, this is an opportunity to try and answer some of your tweets, because not much is going to happen while we're behind safety car, of course. Jay Cutner on Twitter. What do the cranes hook onto to lift the cars in the air? Good question.
Okay, so each of the cars has got a steel boss, either bonded into the monocoque or Thirier on his way back.
Yep.
Either bonded into the monocoque or welded onto the roll cage, and it's literally just a tube of metal, and they put a pin through that tube of metal, which has got little ball bearings that expand on the end of it. In it goes, and they just pick the thing up on the Manitou. So it's a really, really simple system, just 2 holes in the roof, and these little tubes either bonded in or welded to the roll cage.
Fair enough. We've also got Chris Arnott, at wing_nut13. Did the ESM car hop into the wall? Looking at the gravel makes me wonder. We're not sure it did, Chris. We don't think it did.
Just got it stopped, just.
So it was very close.
Certainly no frontal damage whatsoever.
Yeah, it was very close. Look, you can see the tyre marks of the Thirier by TDS car. You can see where it's spun and it's pirouetted at high speed. And that is that still
CLM
the Bicoles?
Still getting a little warm.
Goodness me. That was put out, like, what, 10 minutes ago?
They might as well install a fire hydrant system on that thing.
An inbuilt sprinkler
I
system.
don't think it needs it. It's forever on fire.
I don't mean to be harsh to the Bicoles team. They are all an incredible bunch of people, and they put in a huge amount of effort into this very special machine, the CLM. It's a good piece of kit, really. But unfortunately, Le Mans really does seem to show its weaknesses in every single area. It's not bad in the World Endurance Championship. It holds its own quite well for 6 hours, but not for 24. That's crucial.
I think the thing is, it's a very different car to the car they last ran at Spa. They brought a complete host of upgrades. They didn't even run at the test. So 7-speed gearbox from a 6-speed, a complete new set of bodywork, some engine upgrades. So the thing is just a completely different animal to the one that they were running at Silverstone and Spa, and untested. We saw the problems that they had on Wednesday night when the car caught fire for the first time. With an issue with the fuel system, and yeah, the guys really have struggled throughout, but it's been on fire many
Just a
times
little
before.
update. 7.5 hours to go. Your P2. The Ferrari is just ahead of you, and you're just about halfway on the stint. We'll probably be able to stretch it a little bit with all the yellows and slow zones here, so just hang in there. Pace is fine, and see what we got here.
Now, when the engineer says the Ferrari is just in front of you, can I just be very, very accurate as to how close? It's about 3 car lengths. That is how close the Ford is to the Ferrari in GTE Pro, the Rizzi Competizione car that's leading, as the Audi is back in again.
More brake duct and front wing adjustments on the Audi. So this is what we saw last night, that they were taking the car back into the garage.
Now this is that's the Murphy
car, spinning under yellows, trying to keep some heat in the tyres. He was just trying to push the car through the Indianapolis corner, and yet round she went on
started.
Slightly colder tyres. I understand what he was trying to do there. He was just trying to use the opportunity to go through Indianapolis and load the car up to warm the tyres.
There's the leader.
I think every driver's done that at some stage.
They won't admit it, though, Giles.
I will.
You will. Bless you. Bless you. Into the pits, then, comes the TDS by Thierry by TDS, even Erika Nissan. Once second place, now down to third. That's going to be a nose repair, maybe 1 or 2 other things. 1.5 laps in the pits, potentially, under safety car?
Yeah, again, as they're under safety car, they might take a little bit longer just to go through the car and make sure that everything's well, so that they know they've got a thorough run to the end. They're still third in class. The Litigin car is still 2 laps behind them. So there's no reason why they shouldn't spend another lap just making sure that that car is as good as it could be. They're not out of the run-in for the win. They're only 2 laps back. They had a good advantage, so they won't rush it. They won't take any risks, because the car getting damaged out on track again would be far worse than just spending that little bit of time while everybody else is running slowly, making sure it's good.
And of course, they do need to figure out what went wrong in the first place. Was it driver error, or was it a brake failure?
Yeah, by now they'll have gone through the data and worked that one out. So they won't need to see the car to understand that one. They'll have gone through the telemetry data and they'll have said, no, you actually braked 10 yards too late, and that's what the issue was.
The top 3 cars in the Le Mans 24 Hours are on the same straight behind the safety car. This is just spicing things up beautifully. It's brewing away nicely, this race, isn't it?
Absolutely. So 11 seconds covering the first 3 in P1. We've now got 2 laps covering the first 3 in P2. In GTE Pro, we've already heard that Sebastian Bourdais only 3.5 seconds behind Tony Villander, then a lap back to Scott Dixon in the other Ford. And then when you look at the AM category, there's a lap between first and second, and another lap between second and third. So it's all still pretty close, and it's definitely all still to play for in each of the classes.
Nice WEC-style montage of pit action through the last few hours of racing. These guys work tirelessly. They don't get the credit they deserve. They don't get the rewards that the drivers do. But without them, those heroes, the Tom Christensens, the Derek Bells, the Jackie X's of this world, would be nowhere.
Absolutely. The team effort that goes into all of this cannot be underestimated. It really is massive. And those guys, they've been at the circuit now since before 8 o'clock yesterday morning. They're getting on for 24 hours at the circuit now. They will have been at the circuit for 24 hours by now.
And that guy looks
these guys, absolutely. So they've already completed their first 24-hour race. Now these guys will be running on until 6 or 7 o'clock tonight by the time they've got things packed down and cars through. Any scrutineering is likely to go on tomorrow morning, so cars will get looked at. There's the ESM car.
So for us watching,
that didn't go into the wall.
For us watching, it's a 24 hours. For everybody in the pits, it's pretty much a 48-hour race, really.
Yeah, 40 hours is pretty normal. These guys will be pretty exhausted by the end of it. They get the opportunity for a bit of shut-eye, but personally, as a team manager, I've never managed to, even during a long extended safety car period at the Brit Car 24 hours, where the thing's running around in the fog 3 hours, I've never managed to get a wink of sleep. You're there, you're always thinking, and this is the stage in the race now with Porsche Radio.
So Neil, I'll see the cars in front, the 2 Toyotas. Been fighting with him for the win. We have to pass them on the track. Still 7.5 hours remaining in the race. Are they both on the same sequence now, or? Yes, yep. same sequence, not new. Both of the Toyotas are on their third stint on their tyres. So next time they box, they'll be changing tyres, and we won't. But it all evens out in the end. Mark again.
So not doing too badly then at Porsche. They only have one of their 2 cars on the lead lap, but they're still ticking over in 3rd position. The 2 Toyotas running okay, with the Ford number 66 now in the pits. So again, all of the woes at Ford seem to have hit the UK cars, not the USA cars.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to comment on that one really. I think just luck.
Coincidence.
The UK cars every bit as well prepared as the Chip Ganassi cars from the US team.
Sorry.
A very sleepy Corvette.
Somebody
mechanic.
needs to give that lad a pillow.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. That's cruel, just leaving him there to lull.
We saw when he went up. So no, I mean, just going back to what's going on at this stage. So all the engineers and strategists are now going to be calculating back from the end of the race. This is the point where you really can try and work out, right, this is the number of stops we're going to do. This is how it's going to be. That will be dictated to some degree by safety car. But we have seen a solid 8 hours running without a safety car so far this race. We've had a crazy hour or so now, but that's not to say that we're not going to go clean to the end. So yeah, everyone will be saying, right, 3 o'clock, this is where we need to be. How do we do the ultimate run to get there? I suspect that there'll be people thinking about being able to do it in just 7 stops. They'll be thinking about tyre compounds and strategy. It is looking dry to the end, according to the current weather forecast. I think we've been really quite lucky that we only had that really heavy rain at the start of the race, and throughout the rest of the race been dry. We were saying at the start, no, we won't be setting any distance records. I will check where we're going to be with that, because actually
261
lack of safety
laps.
cars, I think we're going to go further than we did last year. Whether we get near a distance record or not, I'm not sure, but I'll have a look at that over the next hour or so.
Looks as though there is a bit more damage than we first estimated, because the car looks quite twitchy at second gear.
He's just being careful. He's going to have a lot of pickup. He's certainly not hit the wall, at least.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point, because the most amount of laps ever covered in a 24-hour race was 397 by the Audi Sport Team in 2010. Mike Rockenfeller, Timo Bernhard and Romain Dumas back in 2010. 397 laps. We could potentially, 7 hours and 20 minutes to go, we could hit the 400 mark. I mean, if we have a particularly clean 7 hours and 20 minutes, it's doable. You know, Toyota and Porsche are pushing each other so hard in this race. We could go to that distance. Giles is, as I make that bold prediction, trying to prove me wrong with the equation, just trying to make sure. Oh, come on, Jake, you're whistling up a commentary. So the safety car is out. Another great question at Leyland Goes Racing on Twitter. What are in the toolkits they carry on board the cars? And Jason Turner adds to that. What's in the toolkit? Basic ratchet, wrench kit?
Yeah, all sorts in the toolkits in those cars. Sorry, I'm still crunching numbers. It's going to be close. 30 laps in the hour. No, they're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. Okay, fair enough.
So, no, he was, asking about safety, about the toolkits. There'll be all sorts in there. So, there'll be sections of wiring loom to be able to bypass broken bits of wire. So you might have something in there to be able to drive a coil pack direct from an engine control unit, just a bridging loom, a linking loom, so they can unplug one connector, plug it in and bypass a load of circuits.
Both Toyotas are in. Both Toyotas are in.
Taking the opportunity under safety car to come in and do some proper work on those cars.
The number 2 Porsche staying out.
There'll be lots of bits in there. They've all got these extended leads to be able to plug in and walk around the car and talk to the engineers. They also, probably most of them now, got mobile phones that they can plug into their helmet and make a call to the teams. So there's lots of little bits and bobs in there, tank tape, ratchets. There'll certainly be tools to be able to remove the nose section, as we saw with the Alpine and the rear deck. Just probably some C-spanners to be able to adjust suspension should they need to get a corner up in the air if there's a problem. And equally, you know, a lot of these cars have the ability to be able to lock the diffs via a manual mechanism. So if they lose a drive shaft, they can actually lock the diff, drive the car back to the pits on one-wheel drive. So there's things like that in there. Everybody will be different, but yeah, generally, you know, enough gear to be able to fault find and get the thing back.
And you and I both know, Giles, from the world of motorsport on the world stage and the national stage, the most valuable commodity in that toolkit, as we all know, is the tape. That is the most important part of the entire toolkit, because you would be amazed how much work you can actually do to a racing car with tape to get you home.
Tape and tie wraps.
Yep.
46.
We're almost joking as well. We're almost joking.
It's true, though, isn't it? That's Thierry being rolled back down the pit lane. What I don't understand is why they're pushing the car back to the box. I guess he's fired up.
Is that allowed?
Yeah,
Are they allowed
can
to
push the car back to the box. Yeah, so they've got the car going again. This is what I was saying about taking their time. Maybe they have rushed it a bit. He's driven up the pit lane and found that they've got a vibration or some kind of issue, and he's chosen to pull it in rather than doing a complete lap, which is the wise thing to do. They're allowed to push it backwards down the pit lane. The car can't be under its own motive power going backwards down the pit lane. But no problem with what they're doing. So they're going to spin that car back round and into the box, I would think, unless they forgot to fuel it. But if they'd forgotten to fuel it, they'd have saved more time by just sending it round. But then again, the safety car crock, as we see the Toyotas there, sitting at the end of the pit lane, having taken the opportunity to come in and do the stop, being held, so released behind this next safety car behind that. So that now puts Neil Yarni a whole safety car ahead. That's going to be 1 and a bit minutes, but the Toyotas have got to stop out of the way. So that's now 20 stops for each of the Toyotas, 19 for Conway. 19 for Conway, 20 for Buemi, and 20 for Yarni in the Porsche.
Yep.
So
driver changes at both Toyotas, of course.
It's ebbing and flowing. There was a short stint there for both cars, but particularly short for the number 6 of Conway.
Duval is in the 8 Audi, Fessler is in the 7 Audi, and they are still in touch, 2 laps behind the number 8, 12 laps behind the number 7. So they're not far off, 4th and 5th position. They're still in the game. They're still in the game. If one of the big 3 drops out, Audi is still on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but Conway back in that car now. We saw this last night. Once Conway's installed, he seems to be the one that can really push on the hardest in that number 6 car. So Neil Yarni, the fastest of the Porsche drivers in the number 2. Conway, the fastest of the Toyota drivers in the number 6. And Seb Buemi, I would say, the fastest of the drivers in the number 5. So this is the real sprint specialists that are going to be getting on it and seeing where they end up. Seeing some shots from in the pit lane, refueling with Ford getting turned around back into the garage.
Is it bad that when that TDES by Thierry car came into the pits, tried to leave it, and we saw that slow-mo shot of the mechanics running down the pit, is it bad that I visualised the Chariots of Fire song in my head as they ran down the pit lane? Is that bad?
No.
Or am I just overtired?
No, I think you're overtired.
So we've got 7 hours and 15 minutes to go here, and Neil Yarni in the Porsche leads the way with the 2 Toyotas, 2nd and 3rd, because they've just made a full service pit stop and driver changes. Conway and Buemi in the car. When we get restarted again, watch Mike Conway. The headline in this Le Mans 24 Hours is, where the hell has Mike Conway been, and why hasn't he shown us all this skill before? Because he is, for me, I know this is a team sport, I know this is endurance, and I know this isn't a sprint race, although effectively it's several sprint races within an endurance race nowadays, of course. But if there's one man in the Toyota team that can put his hands up and say, we've done a good job, and I've been integral to that, it's Mike Conway. He's been absolutely mighty.
Let's not jinx him, but I think at 3 o'clock that will be the story. What Conway did to bring the Toyota home wherever it may finish. You know, he really has been the out and out star of that show so far.
Now the Captain Smarty Pants Award on Twitter is likely to go to @ReedDA. He heard us say an unlimited tyres rule, but apparently the rule book on page 22 says there is a limit. When did we say unlimited tyres?
I've said that, but pretty confident that there is unlimited tyres.
I wouldn't question Giles Dawson. He does know what he's talking about on this one. Safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap. So, 2 Toyotas, nose to tail, are going to charge after that Porsche. Now, on the gap, it is 1 minute 57, but we're under safety car.
Information to the pit lane. We are bringing the safety cars in at the end
So we've got the Toyotas chasing after the Porsche. There is one car on the road between the 68 Ferrari and the Competizione Ferrari, and that is the 68 Porsche, which is the GTE AM machine. So there's one car between the leaders in GTE Pro. That battle's going to kick off. Richelme in the Alpine still leading, having made that brilliant pit stop, that strategic decision, and they've still got a lap in hand over René Rast in the G-Drive Eureka. So as you were saying, Giles, that was the sensible decision for the Signatec Alpine. They were 2 laps clear. Why on earth shouldn't they? And it's still given that they've still got a lap in hand.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they've got that lap in hand, and they might as well look after the car, make sure it's done properly.
So Jeffrey Seagal is your leader in the Ferrari in the GTE AM category, about a lap ahead of Heinemir Hansen in the Porsche number 88, the Abu Dhabi Proton car. Still there in second position, David Heinemir Hansen of Denmark sharing the car with the American Patrick Long and the Dubai-based racer Khaled Al-Kubaizi. Lights out on the safety car, and this is the one that's on the back straight. So the Audi is pulling off in front of us. The Audi safety car is pulling off right in front of us, and we're racing again. So the Le Mans 24 Hours continues with 7 hours and 11 minutes on the clock. Game on, and this is going to be a bit like a sprint. Here comes the Audi shooting down the straight. Going for it big style. He's actually on the dust on the far side of the circuit trying to pick his way through traffic. Watch the cars make their way through here. The Rizzi Competizione Ferrari is getting impatient with 2 Astons right in front, and that's why the Ford is right on the tail. So this is going to be a bit like a sprint race for the next half an hour or so at least, because there's a big challenge here, because we've got the Porsche and the 2 Toyotas not too far away in tow, and then we have the battle for the GTE Pro, and this is Sebastian Bourdais we're riding on board with. Tony Villander is not far up the road. There he is in the 82 Rizzi Competizione Ferrari, and there's the Ford. That is the battle for the victory in the GT class. It is so close. It is so tight. And this is no longer an endurance race at this particular point of the Le Mans 24 Hours. This one's a sprint. 7 hours and 10 minutes to go. We're all pretty impressed with what the Ford can do. Into the pits now. That's a bit of frustration there for the 69 Ford just in front of us coming into the pits, because he got bulked by the Garage 56 entry, the SRT 41 by Oak racing car. Frederic Sausset and his colleagues, Christophe Tinceau and Jean-Bernard Bouvet. Not sure who's in that car at the moment. In fact, that's a bit of a question. Where are they currently in the race? Because they're not in the top 25. I can tell you that they're above the bottom, but they're below the top. So they are pretty much in the mid-section. Their target is not to finish in any particular position, it's to finish. And to be honest, they've looked very good all the way throughout. So the gap between the Porsche and the 2 Toyotas, Neil Jani leading, Mike Conway and Sebastian Buemi second and third, is a minute. It's a minute.
To answer the point on the tyres, no, if you look at the note 7.7.4, it's very clear these regulations do not apply to the 24 Hours Le Mans.
Aha! So it's a WEC rule, it's not a Le Mans rule.
Which is what we've been saying.
I have to say, if it was a Le Mans rule, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah,
we would be in trouble.
Yeah, no, so that's pretty normal. And it's interesting, the tyre regulations, the way it works, because there is tyre competition in all the classes, and you know, Dunlop and Michelin are fighting it out hard in the GTE Pro category, and then we've got the same thing in the LMP class. But LMP1, all the top runners on Michelin, and then we've got the privateer entries, the LMP1Ls on Dunlops. So it kind of ebbs and flows throughout the classes, and the same in the LMP2 category, Michelin Dunlop split. But interesting that Aston Martin chose to change the tyre manufacturer at the start of the year to Dunlop, because they felt that they were going to get a better response from Dunlop to have a tyre developed for them. While Michelin were focusing on the mid-engine cars, they really wanted to work with somebody on getting a tyre to work for the front-engine car.
At this moment in time, my money is still on Toyota. In the first sector of that last lap, Neil Jani did a 37.0. The Toyotas were in the 33s. Let's just let that resonate for a moment. A 37.0 for Jani, 33s for the Toyotas. Drive-through penalty for the 98 Aston Martin for speeding in the pit lane. Well, we got that little warning a little bit earlier on that they were sent to the stewards for speeding in the pits. In the second sector, the Porsche has done an 81.1. The Toyotas, 78. This is absolutely monstrous speed. Now, I don't think this is just traffic for some reason.
No, I don't either. I think that is genuine pace, so see how it pans out through the next lap or so.
The Porsche hasn't pitted, so they don't have a problem. But Conway and Buemi have both been told, right, you're sprint specialists, get on it, go.
So 4 seconds lost in the first sector, and now another 3 seconds lost in the second sector. They know they need to chase him if they want to put the pressure on, having made that stop under safety car, but equally Yanni owes us a stop, so Yanni is in the 2 car, 241, and a safety car. I suspect we're going to see Yanni 251.
Well, Yanni is
we're going to see Yanni this lap or next lap for a stop.
Yanni's on the Mulsanne going into the first chicane, just as Conway and Buemi come over the start-finish line and down towards the Dunlop curves. The gap is down to 56 seconds.
And actually, Toyota, that was the blinder on the strategy, because that's now going to put Toyota well clear, both cars well clear of Yanni when he gives us his stop very shortly. And they're back kind of in sync. There's only going to be 2 or 3 laps between them.
And Yanni does need to make a driver change here, I think. Is it a full service stop? No, it's not.
Yanni will be staying in.
But 56 seconds, that is not enough to get in and get out, no matter what they do.
Both cars, no shadow of a doubt there. Doesn't matter how quickly he goes now, and he's losing time to them again. No, he's now put the hammer down through the first sector, so he's probably on an in-lap this lap. He took a second out of the Toyotas there on that first sector.
Careful, boys, don't hit each other, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I think Seb Buemi just trying to make his point. Look, I'm here. I'm every bit as quick as you. Get out of the way. We're both racing for a win here.
Surely they should work together here at this point.
They will, but if you're Sebastian Buemi, you want to be the car that's leading.
That's true.
It's as simple as that. You don't want to get caught up in Mike Conway's accident if he was to drop it under braking, as we've seen with all these other issues that have gone on throughout. So, yeah, he's coming. Toyota radio.
What are the team orders? Yanni 56 seconds ahead. Yanni 56 seconds ahead.
Well,
that wasn't answering the question.
That didn't answer the question at all. Yeah, that was Buemi saying, are there any team orders? Can I overtake him?
Yeah.
We're not going to answer that question.
And Buemi immediately driving away from Conway, which I'm quite surprised by that. You know, Conway has been the star of the show so far for me. But Buemi just now trying to prove his point. And let's hope Sebastian's got his head engaged and he's not going to go and have a silly off now chasing down Yanni. They don't need to chase Yanni too hard. We're going to be equal on all things equal on pit stops once Yanni stops, and Yanni is coming through now the final sector. We will see him in this or next. I can't tell you which because of the safety car. It depends how much fuel he saved under safety car. No, he is in now in pit lane, so the Toyotas are going to come through to take that lead back. That's the number 2 car in.
Oh, it's getting exciting again. Into the pits comes Neil Jani. Now, Nelson Pagliatici, we saw him hit the wall a little bit earlier on. I don't know when, I don't know how, we didn't see it, but they're back in the pits. So fair play to Nelson Pagliatici. He's managed to get the car started and bring it home.
I think he managed to do that under the safety car, which was probably the safest thing for everybody, and that may be why they've let it go. But that was the point we were making. You know, the marshals needed to give him that opportunity to bring that car back. That will get a front corner. That car will be back on its way. I have no shadow of a doubt about that. Thivier car still falling down the order, now back behind the Straka. Still in the pits, so they haven't sorted that problem. I think he has done an out and in. So there is obviously some more damage there on that Thivier car than expected.
Well, if Anthony Dreve can hear us, can we get down to Nelson Pagliatici in car 35 and
Thivier while he's at it?
And
because
Thivier.
The Thivier car that is still in the race for LMP2 honours.
Meanwhile, the Toyota's going to flash past the pits and they're going to go 1 and 2 at a critical point in the Le Mans 24 hours. Porsche out of the pits. Bye-bye. The Toyotas have well and truly flummoxed them here. And look at that. That's a big morale boost to the crew.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be very pleased with that. I'm surprised that Yanni's come out between the two of them, but that won't last for very long. I think that Conway's been held up in traffic there.
Oh, hang on a second. What car is right in front of these three on the road? It's the #1 Porsche. Things could get interesting here. I'm not saying that the #1 Porsche, who's at the wheel of that at the moment? They're so far down, we're not sure who's at the wheel.
We'll have a look. I suspect it's Mark Webber.
Now, Mark Webber, at the best of times, knows how to go for a battle. If he wants to help the #2,
Timo Bernhard.
it's Bernhard.
Yeah, we saw that change, didn't we, earlier on?
They are 38 laps off the lead, that Porsche.
So we're just seeing a drive-through penalty being issued to car 98, which is Paul Dalla and now Matthias Lauda into that car.
And
but
I'm
also
afraid
car
to say
55.
there is a possible overtake of the 55, which is... Which car is the 55? That is the A, of course, Ferrari. So one of their rivals under safety car. That's under investigation as well.
Yeah, let's see what goes on there. But either